My name is Marguerite Kiley. I'm the Clinical Director of Athena, the Academy for Mental Health and Wellbeing. Prior to this, my role was Clinical Director and Head of Child and Adolescents with Pieta House, the Centre for Prevention of Suicide and Self-Harm. This is a role I held for over 14 years. This Thursday, the 10th of September, is World Suicide Prevention Day. These have been extremely challenging times for all those across all sectors, but particularly for those working in the mental health sector. We now need to come together to support clients who may become so distressed that suicide has become an option. I would like to share briefly with you some of the risk indicators that I would use when working with a client that may present with suicide ideation or may have a plan in place. One of these first indicators is to assess the client's sleeping pattern. Has the client's sleeping pattern become consistently interrupted, where they're awake all night and maybe asleep all day, or during the night the sleeping pattern has become quite distressed? 2, do you recognise if your client is no longer stimulated by the future, looking forward to things, and that they've created tunnel vision? 3, that we recognise that our client have withdrawn and become quite isolated from areas that they have engaged with previously. That could be sports, meeting up with friends, and that the client is now spending an amount of time that they want to be on their own and disconnected from the world around them. 4, is your client giving away possessions that may be of sentimental value to both friends and family? That's out of character for them. And 5, one of the most important areas is the language of suicide that your client may be using. When your client sits and names that they no longer want to be here, when they feel they are a burden to others, when they feel that life has nothing more to offer them, and when they're stating this. When we're sitting with our client and after we've assessed this and we say that our client is struggling with suicide ideation, how do we respond to it? What's important is that we provide that lovely space, safe and non-judgmental environment where your client is able to feel heard and listened to without there being a reaction. Where you're able to be compassionate and show empathy for your client. Where you're also able to provide assurance to your client. And very quickly, when that lovely relationship is formed, it's quick to see that the client can move from suicide ideation and start seeing more of a wider world, and that there is a meaning to their life. I appreciate that it can be very difficult and challenging for professionals working with those that present in crisis. Therefore, I have developed a 5-day training program in collaboration with PCI, where I can build your confidence and assure you of your work when working with suicide ideation. This is a 5-day workshop which begins on October the 5th. For more information about this workshop, you can contact the PCI website for all the information details. Finally, I'd like to thank all those, particularly in frontline staff, but particularly for those professionals working with your clients in these challenging times, and acknowledge the wonderful work that you continue to do, and I look forward to supporting you. Goodbye for now.